welcome to the Rob Burgess Show. I'm, of course, your host, Rob Burgess. On this, our 228th episode, our returning guest is Ash Burgess. Ash Burgess has been a guest on 31 previous episodes of the podcast. For a complete list, check the show notes. Ash Burgess has a dusty degree in religious studies and an appetite for both high and low culture. She strives to celebrate the best of every season with her young children. Follow her on Instagram at Ash Burgess, all one word, and subscribe to her YouTube channel. And now on to the show. I think you're using that Squishmallow in ways that Squishmallows were never intended.
This Squishmallow supports me perfectly. This Squishmallow supports me better than the $60 pregnancy pillow that I had last time. So I'm just saying, financially, this Squishmallow is a real superstar.
But it's kind of misshapen now from being used in ways that it wasn't necessarily intended to be.
It's probably not going to be looking, but the pregnancy
pillow. What was that supposed to be? Was that supposed to be
an Easter egg?
Okay. It doesn't look like an Easter egg anymore.
Well, it's kind of lumpy now, but I'm just saying, how much was this originally? $20? And if it supports me through this whole pregnancy versus the other pillow, which also died by the end of the pregnancy that I bought it for, but which cost $70. I'm just saying.
Savings.
I'm just saying savings, but not a compromise save. Not I'm saving money by being uncomfortable. I don't remember that pregnancy pillow supporting me better than the Squishmallow has done.
People love those Squishmallows.
It's really squishy. Have you felt it?
I have.
There's something really, it's kind of the feeling of when you're squeezing a stress ball, there's just something just so satisfying about it. Something about the way that it squeezes is so satisfying. But it just supports the side of my stomach so perfectly when I'm trying to lay in bed.
We should probably mention at this point that you are 8 months pregnant right now.
Yeah, almost 9 months. I mean, do you only say that you're 9 months pregnant on your due date?
No, I guess, yeah.
Okay, so then I guess I am 8 months pregnant and will continue to be 8 months pregnant until the day that I'm due? Is that how it works? I guess it is.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Then yes, I am 8 months pregnant.
Okay.
Because we're about 3 weeks away from my due date.
Yeah, we're in the home stretch.
I would assume, based on previous pregnancies, that he'll come, close to the due date. I'm hoping not any earlier. But, but not too much later either, though, because that's really pressing up against you and Lilac's birthdays.
Yes.
He's due exactly a week before Lilac's birthday. And I really don't want him to come before he's due, but I also really don't want him to come on her birthday.
He'd have to be 6 days.
Yeah, and I mean, that would be pushing it lateness-wise, but that happens.
Yeah.
There are people that even go 9, 10, days late. So I mean, it's not inconceivable, but I do think he definitely would, I'm expecting him to be out by then. It's just, it's that window of time that I'm saying, we are pushing it really close to having all the there's a lot of birthdays coming.
Yes, yeah. Very much so.
You need to finish deciding what you want.
Yes, I do.
Understandably, considering that I'm due the week before you and Lilac's birthdays, I'm trying to kind of get some preparations made in advance because I don't know how, able to throw stuff together I'm going to be. We already talked about the fact that you're going to have to buy some cakes this year.
That's fine.
I usually really like baking the cakes, but I don't think we can count on me to do that.
I can start ordering those.
Well, we just need to figure out how nice of cakes that we want and where we're getting them from. Do we want grocery store cakes, in which case I think we only need maybe a week or two in advance notice? Do we want nicer cakes, which might need more notice and also cost more but be more delicious, but how much do we care about that?
Our kids will eat any cake presented to them, I think, but
it's true. But anyway, yes, I am 8 months pregnant. So yeah, you wanted to kind of lead by talking about that.
Well, we started talking about the Squishmallow.
We did. But the Squishmallow actually ties into both of the main things we wanted to talk about because it ties into Easter also since it happens to be an Easter egg Squishmallow. But let's talk about the pregnancy first since we've already kind of gotten into that.
Sure.
Did we ever do an intro?
No.
We should probably do that now, so people know who they're talking to.
Welcome to the Rob Burgess Show, Ash Burgess.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here once more.
Absolutely.
How many shows have I done with you?
Oh, at least like 24, probably more.
Yeah, I haven't really, I haven't kept count.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yes, I'm glad to be back. So speaking of the pregnancy, I think we wanted to talk about how, this is, as we're getting towards the end here, it brings up a lot of, comparisons and contrasts and thoughts, just because last time we were at this point in a pregnancy, it was the spring of 2020. Mm-hmm. So it was a very wild time to be pregnant.
Yes.
And that worked out. It actually, it's funny because that was a very stressful time to be pregnant, but at the same time, it actually worked out well, I think. We were just talking today about how I feel like that, postpartum period was probably my best one, as of yet. Mm-hmm. Well, I think because, due to what was going on then, you were working from home, so, I was able to rest more and focus on just, resting and taking care of the baby more than if you had been going, traveling back and forth to an office.
Yeah, most definitely.
That also, we had kind of a wild delivery story that I feel like a lot of people would think is very stressful. If we were just, I think when you say, we planned on a hospital birth and then we accidentally didn't make it to the hospital and had the baby at our house and then had to go to the hospital in an ambulance, mm-hmm. That sounds very stressful, but actually I feel like everything worked out really well. Mm-hmm. She just came out so fast, which I think if the baby comes out fast, it's usually because they're in, a good position. Mm-hmm. So, she just kind of... Not like it wasn't difficult, the actual, being in labor was very intense. But I would prefer something very intense for a short period of time over something still grueling that goes on and on and on,
Oh, yeah. No, it couldn't have gone better, honestly. It was great.
Yeah, so it's interesting to be almost at that point again. Although I'm kind of sad that the end of the pregnancy is so near. Even though I'm excited to see the baby on the outside and everything, especially since our kind of plan is for this to be the last one. Mm-hmm. It's just sort of sad to think that I won't be pregnant again after this.
It is an amazing thing that your body does.
It's the most amazing thing. It's
mm-hmm.
Well, it's Emerald was asking me the other day if magic is real. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of. There are things that happen, and even though we have scientific explanations for them, it still feels magical. Even though, obviously, if you look at how many humans there are in the world, and how many just animals in general, obviously pregnancy and birth is a normal thing. At the same time, it does feel magical. Mm-hmm. The fact that there's a real miniature person living in me right now feels magical. And that I'm able to somehow grow them from just a tiny, just beginning into an actual substantial human.
Yeah.
I think that's magic right there.
Oh, absolutely. It's explainable, but it's not really I don't know. It seems explainable but implausible somehow.
Exactly. Even if you explain, it's kind of how I've read the description of how the physics of being able to fly in an airplane works. Mm-hmm. But it still sort of, to me, seems just how are we doing this?
Yeah, I still don't get it.
I understand about the wings and the air, all that, but it's still the airplane's so heavy and somehow it's just getting aloft and and it's just going.
Especially since a lot of those planes are 30 and 40 years old.
And they're just they're just still going.
All the time.
But pregnancy even more so. It's I understand this is the biology of how this all happens, but it's still just all of the details somehow have to happen, and it's just wow.
Right. It's incredible.
It is incredible, so... It is just I just hope I can sort of enjoy the end of the pregnancy a little bit more, because I feel it's been really stressful. The last couple weeks, just
getting everything ready.
Yeah, and just I don't know, I feel we were kind of it always feels too soon to prepare, or there's reasons why, not to get certain things ready. it always seems like that until suddenly it seems like almost like you've waited too long,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Definitely.
But we are getting ready.
Yeah.
You know? And also just, like, encouraging him to stay in for an appropriate amount of time. Like, I've never had, like, really a concern of, like, premature labor or whatever. But, I mean, some people do have a baby, like, a couple weeks before their due date. So, I mean, that can happen.
Yeah. I think overworking your body can make it happen sooner, right?
Yes, I mean, you can definitely, like, I think you can definitely throw yourself into labor if there's, like, you know, stresses or, like, overworks, or, you know, if you don't, like, if you're starting to have, like, contractions and you don't rest and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I do think some people's bodies just want to go into labor at certain points in the pregnancy, you know? Like, I think some people, it's like all of their kids come 1 week before the due date, and so you think, like, maybe this is just the point at which your body's like, all right, it's time to come out, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But, I mean, Lilac was, like, I went into labor just hours after her due date had passed. Like, it was, like, 1:15 in the morning when I woke up in labor with her, so, on, like, the day, technically, after her due date. So, I mean, based on that, I'm not, like, too concerned about him coming super early. Although, sometimes I feel like he might be, like, bigger than the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I just, like, the way that he feels in my stomach, like, he feels like he's taking up a lot of space right now.
He does seem rather big.
Like, just, like, I feel like he's, like, pressing really hard against, like, the exterior layer of me or something in a way that, like, I remember the others doing that somewhat, but I feel just more, like, overly full or something with him. So I don't know what that means. Maybe he'll be larger.
I don't know.
Usually, supposedly, your second baby is your largest, and so far that has been true with us, because Emerald was, like, almost a full pound bigger than either of the other two.
What about Lilac?
She was just a few ounces bigger than Cap. She only seemed bigger because she didn't really lose any weight. Like, because I think she was, like, 6 pounds, maybe, like, 2 ounces when she was born, and he was 6 pounds, 1 ounce. The difference is just that, like, he lost 10% of his body weight in, like, the day or two after he was born, so then he was, like, super small. Whereas I don't think she lost very much weight at all. And then she, like, more rapidly regained the weight. So she seemed bigger, but, like, their actual baseline starting point was pretty similar.
Yeah.
Although she was longer than he was. Which, I mean, she's just a longer person, I think.
A very long person.
But Emerald was, like, a full pound bigger. Like, Emerald was, like, 7 pounds, 1 ounce.
She's sitting here with a pajama top riding up almost to her armpits, and, like...
Because she asked me to rub her belly while she was trying to fall asleep.
I know, but, like, just emphasizing her length, like...
You mean because the pajama top cannot cover her, the midsection?
And, like, her pants are, like, capri pants, basically.
It's true. She's really long. Well, it's interesting with the timing of clothing, because we have all these hand-me-down clothing from Emerald, you know, because she's, like, just, you know, spaced one person before her and, like, another girl, so there's, like, a lot of clothes, but Lilac's always wearing them at a different time than when Emerald wore them, so, like, sometimes the years and the seasons aren't, like, an exact match.
Yeah.
Well, because Emerald sort of stayed the same size for a prolonged period of time.
Yeah.
And I feel like Lilac didn't ever really do that. So there was a pocket of time that Lilac hit probably around about where she is now, where we don't really have that many hand-me-downs from Emerald, because Emerald kind of wasn't ever really that size, because Emerald sort of stayed the size before this for, like, a year, and then suddenly she grew, like, rapidly, like, past that size to, like, to the next size, you know what I mean?
Totally.
And that kind of changes things.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Although it's fine, because I like having an excuse to buy them, like, new clothes.
Got so many whimsical pajamas at this point.
Although, I don't know, the pajamas are all, like, falling apart.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, I feel like
Not made to last.
I feel like I'm constantly buying pajamas. And every time I buy pajamas, I kind of have this fantasy where I'm just like, now we just own so many. Like, at Christmas time, I bought 5 new sets of pajamas for each of the kids.
Wow.
And in my mind, it doesn't feel that way at all, but in my mind, I kind of felt like we were going to have this, like, luxurious abundance of pajamas. Because that wasn't, like, the only pajamas they owned. That was just, like, in addition to the collection of pajamas that we'd already established for everyone. So I kind of thought that, you know, it would feel like we had more, but I feel like it's, for every pajama that I buy, another pair of pajamas rips or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just, we're never going to get ahead. We need to just accept that. I didn't actually buy them any Easter pajamas this year, though.
Mm-hmm.
Which there's still time. I still could.
Yeah.
I probably should.
But let's talk about Easter.
Yes, let's. Unless there's anything else, about the pregnancy you want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so. Okay,
because I am excited to talk about Easter because, as you know, Easter basketry is probably one of the things that I do best.
Mm-hmm. You're very good at it. You've made Easter Emerald's favorite holiday.
It is. It's Emerald's favorite holiday, and I do feel like I think I take the Easter basketry further probably than most people do.
So people who aren't you are doing more modest things? Really?
Sometimes. It's just like any other gifting holiday. Everyone has their level of, what they can or want to do or, decide to do, And, I think for some people it's just kind of you throw the chocolate bunny in the basket and call it a day, Or you buy the pre-made Easter basket. But I enjoy putting the Easter baskets together so much. Maybe even more than I like Christmas shopping, and I do like Christmas shopping a lot. I think part of the reason I like doing the Easter baskets so much, though, is that with Christmas shopping, I'm more thinking about, what the kids want, whereas it's not that I'm not thinking about what they want with the Easter baskets, but I'm thinking about things that they will enjoy that I want them to have. So it's sort of more just whatever I decide to get. Because with Christmas, we do, I've discouraged them from, making, huge lists, but I still do kind of take into account, they, will ask for specific things. Maybe they'll have a couple things that they are hoping for. Whereas with Easter, I always say, Easter is not, a gift request holiday.
I heard you saying that to Emerald today.
Well, Emerald, the thing about Emerald is that it's hard to say no to her because she's so, some of the things that she says, I feel like if you didn't know her and didn't know, the tone of voice that she says them in, you would think that she sounds really spoiled and, kind of, obnoxious, but she's so pure-hearted, it's hard to say no to her. It's just, she just has, but, the sky is the limit for, what Emerald imagines that she could be having, at any given time, too, though. But I appreciate her, though, because, she has some very solid goals, she wants to ride a horse, she wants to get her ears pierced, she wants to own an emerald tree boa,
I think she also wants emerald jewelry.
Yes, she wants emerald jewelry. And, not all of those goals are going to... I keep telling her, okay, let's scratch the emerald tree boa, because that's not happening. But as far as getting...
This house.
Yeah, that's... No.
Maybe one day when she lives alone, but...
Even if I was open to the idea of having a snake, which I'm not, I think when I read the description of emerald tree boa care, where... And apparently this is not every snake, but, some snakes, including the emerald tree boa, where... In order for them to poop, I don't know, once every 6 weeks or something, you have to make this special, rain chamber box that they go into, where, I don't know, it just, sort of gently mists them to help them relax, so that they can, defecate, and, even if I wasn't already, hard pass on getting a snake, I'm not getting any pets where I have to, build a special enclosure to, gently mist them so that they can poop, that's
we could get one for a couple $100, I think.
Yeah, $500-$600, I think you can have one. You would cost more than that ultimately because we would need to get all the equipment. Let's just assume it would be $1,000 at least, and the ongoing expense. Just and just it's a no from me. But still, other than the emerald tree boa, the emerald jewelry, the riding a horse, and the ear piercings, I think those are all reasonable things for her to want. They can't all happen at once, though.
No.
I do think that. We're going to try to figure out how to help her do some horseback riding, coming up at some point, and probably will cave in and let her get her ears pierced as well.
Yes. You know what emerald jewelry goes in ear piercings? Earrings?
Yes, but she wants pink heart-shaped earrings.
Oh, okay. I see.
Although I don't know if a piercing place will... if we take her to an actual piercing place, which would be better for the piercing, I don't know if they will offer pink heart-shaped studs, but we'll have to cross that bridge when we come to it.
That's a conversation for a different day with her.
Yes. But, yes, she has a lot of things that she wants, but she also is a very hard worker.
Absolutely.
She wants to play the guitar, and she does, and, she'll practice for, like, more than an hour voluntarily, and, like, you'll have to stop her from practicing, like, you know what I mean? Like, because, I mean, you usually run the practices with her, but when you were, like, on a work trip recently and I was supervising the practice, like, I would have to, like, stop her just because, you know, I don't want her to, like, hurt her hands. Like, I don't want her to, like, overdo it and then be injured and not be able to do it the next day.
She wants those calluses, though.
She does, but it's like but you know what I mean? Like, she's 5 years old and she's, like, willing to practice guitar for more than an hour a day because it's like she's driven and she wants to do it.
Absolutely.
But she's just very sweet. So, like, when she says things like, in my Easter basket, I would like one very large chocolate bunny and a small chocolate bunny. It's like, on the one hand, I'm like, no, this is not a gift request holiday. But on the other hand, it's like hard to say no to that. Because I know she just loves Easter so much and loves the idea of finding chocolate bunnies of various sizes in her basket.
She is so pure-hearted about it, it's true.
Yeah, but that's what I've always said, though, about, like, the idea of, like, a child being, like, spoiled or whatever. It's all about the tone. And she's always so, like, grateful and excited about
as long as you're not, like, entitled, you know, and, you know, like, if you kind of are grateful, it makes it a lot more...
Exactly, and it's not like she's demanding these things. It's more just, like, I feel like she just feels comfortable telling me, like, what it is that she hopes she could be getting. But I only got one chocolate bunny for basket. I think she'll be okay, though, because there's some other good stuff in there.
I'm sure she'll be fine.
She
sees the plethora of things. So, how do you want to, like, talk about your Easter basket tree?
Well, I mean, I should definitely mention that I'm going to be filming a video this weekend, so people can, like, see the Easter baskets on my YouTube channel.
Where can they find your YouTube channel?
I mean, it's just Ash Burgess.
ASHBURGESS?
Yes, so that's my YouTube channel, and I also have basket videos from the past at least 3 or 4 years, so there's already a bunch up there if anybody's just, like, chomping for more ideas. But I'm definitely filming this weekend to get that posted, hopefully by Monday. So if anybody's actually trying to watch the video to get ideas and shop, they still have time.
Cool.
But I'm excited about the baskets this year. I mean, every year I do things a little bit differently, but there are some things I always do. Like, I always do books, and, like, things like, you know, bubbles and chalk are pretty standard. But this year I really stuck a lot harder to my color schemes for each basket. And I'm excited about that because for me, see, that's the other thing I like about putting an Easter basket together. Not just that it's like, oh, it's me getting the kids what I want them to have that I think they'll like. I also have sort of rules that I set for myself, which maybe make it harder, but it makes it more exciting to me. Like, for example, I don't like to get a lot of things that are so Easter specific that they're kind of like junk after Easter. Like, I try to get things that are really going to, like, be used and enjoyed long term. But at the same time, I want them to be Eastery. So, like, you know, because I think some people, and this is totally fine, it's just not what I like to do, just get things and they don't really worry about how Eastery they are. They're just like, if it fits in the basket, it could be in an Easter basket. And I respect that. But, like, with me, it needs to feel in some way Eastery, either in, like, the, like, theme of the item, like it's Eastery or it's springtimey, or in, like, the color scheme, like the pastelness or whatever. And so this year I did kind of go with color schemes for the baskets. Like, I went basically with people's favorite colors. So, you know, for Cap I did mostly blue, and then there's some green in there. And then for Lilac, I did purple, of course, which I'm really excited that purple's her favorite color. I hope it stays her favorite color forever. Just, I mean, how exciting would it be if your name was your favorite color?
Yeah.
Like, it just works out really well. Whereas Emerald, I mean, her name is Emerald, but as much as she wants an emerald tree bow, I think her favorite color is actually pink. And she'll be the first to tell you it's pink, purple, and yellow. And I think she has, like, a cast of, like, supporting other colors.
Yeah, she's always like, Daddy, what's your 5th favorite color?
And you're like, I don't even know.
I haven't run it down that far lately.
The older I get, the less favorites of any kind I have.
Yeah, it's a lot more vague. I have more things to define myself by than that, I guess.
But I can remember having, like, long and deep feeling conversations, even, like, in high school, about, like, what people's favorite colors were and why. And now it just kind of, it all seems so, like, whatever. But anyway, so, I mean, so for Emerald, I did more, like, pinks and things. And then I also, you know, for the girls, they have a lot of really similar things. Well, it's kind of interesting because, like, where our kids are at right now, you know, our oldest and, you know, current boy, even though, the baby that will be born after Easter will also be a boy. But our oldest he's going to be 9 this summer. And so I feel like he's maybe, he's very clear, and he's always been very clear on kind of what his interests are and, what he's into.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Emerald is 5, she'll be 6, also this summer. She's clear on what her interests are, but she has so many interests that it makes shopping both very difficult and very hard for her.
Mm-hmm.
Shopping for her is easy, but that's why it's hard, because it's harder for me to draw the line and just, cut myself off. Because not only is it easy because she likes so many things, and she actually uses stuff. The thing is with our son, he likes very specific things, and he will use those very specific things. But if you get him just more random, if you get him experimental things just to see if he'll like them, he probably won't and won't use them.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't have that many different interests, so it's there's just specific things. Whereas Emerald, I feel like she has 20 things that she definitely would use and enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
But also, this is probably also just because I'm also a girl. A lot of the stuff for her is so exciting. It's fun to buy. You know what I mean? It's
mm-hmm.
of course I want to buy these small unicorn figurines.
Definitely.
But I guess what I was getting at though, as far as the age spread of our kids, is that I think intellectual capability wise, the oldest two, being almost 6 and almost 9, are in some ways pretty similar. Even though obviously scholastically, 9-year-old is ahead, and things like reading and stuff like that. I feel as far as their ability, their dexterity, mm-hmm. and their ability to comprehend things and enjoy certain types of items is pretty similar. However, their interests, I feel are pretty different at this point. Whereas, Lilac, even though she's just 2, she'll be 3 very soon after Easter, her, abilities aren't really as caught up. She's, her abilities are, definitely, not quite where Emerald's abilities are. But interest-wise, she's very much right there. Maybe because she's also a girl in some ways, and they're both into some stereotypically girly kind of things, but then also probably because just since they're, next door to each other spacing-wise, of course Lilac wants to, copy Emerald and do, emulate her and do what she does, so whatever she sees Emerald doing, she thinks is exciting. So, for that reason, I think the girls' baskets are a lot more similar to each other, and
mm-hmm.
then Cap's is kind of different.
Yeah. Definitely.
I'm interested, if I leave my comments on this year, to see what kind of hateful comments I receive about
I can't believe the hateful comments. People really get in and give you thumbs. Do they do thumbs down anymore?
I feel like they might have taken the thumbs down thing away.
Or do they just not record the number?
I don't think it's an option anymore. I don't know.
I feel the thumbs up is still an option.
Yes, thumbs up is still an option. I just don't know what's happening with thumbs down. I think it might have been canceled. But I just mean okay, for example, I remember last year somebody commented oh, it seems like you're trying to turn your boy into a girl. I think because I bought him shoes that had some purple on them.
So only girls can like purple now?
Which, first of all, I would like to point out that I bought those shoes in the boys section.
Mm-hmm.
But even beyond that, even had I not, because I feel like children's shoes are, unisex or whatever. It's whoever wants to wear the shoes should just wear them. I don't think that the purpleness of his shoes is going to turn him into a girl, unless that was something that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, that's an asinine comment.
It is, but it's things like that where it's
Of course, there were probably 100 nice comments that you don't even remember.
No, I remember all the nice comments, and I appreciate them.
I'm saying it's natural to, folk fixate
sure.
on...
No, I just remembered that one specifically because I try not to be self-aware of things like that, because it's some people just are going to have, a problem with whatever you do. I feel if you buy your kids too much... Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's just expected. I'm sure some people think I buy too much stuff for the Easter baskets, but then if you buy less stuff, I'm sure there's people that think, oh, why didn't you buy more stuff for the Easter baskets? I know, and I've seen other people in their videos address things like this, where it's oh, people think I don't buy enough candy, or people are you're poor kids. Why don't you ever buy them clothes? Or so it's just somebody's always gonna say something about whatever. But I try not to I mean, as you pointed out to me, you're like, your family motto should be never justify, never explain.
Yeah.
And I do try to kind of live by that to a certain extent. Like, I like explaining joyfully what I do in Easter basket shopping because I like, enjoy doing it. But I don't feel like I need to explain as in, like, all right, guys, I understand that there's a lot of stuff in these baskets, but it's just what we've decided to do. It's like, you know what I mean? There is a lot of stuff in the baskets because it is just what I've decided to do. Yeah. It's like... This year, though, I think in some ways I made the baskets more practical. Mm-hmm. I did put a lot of clothes in there, even though I didn't put any pajamas in, which I might still need to, like, do. Although the baskets are pretty full, so maybe I won't do that. But I got them each, like, a spring jacket. Mm. Like, just, like the girls, I got, like, jean jackets, and Cap, I got, like, a lighter weight. Like, you know, it's like a sweatshirt, but it's actually just, like, a t-shirt, but, like, with the hood and the long sleeves and everything. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that took up a lot of room in the baskets. I also did swimsuits this year, kind of overly optimistically, since I don't think we ever went swimming last year. Mm-mm. But my thought was, though, that for the little girls, I thought they might just wear them, because you know how they like to do, like, weird experiments with, like, pouring water and stuff? Mm-hmm. And then their clothes get wet and they scream, or they'll just be, like, nude and, like, doing the water pouring. I thought maybe they could just wear the swimsuits when they're doing that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of my, like, main reason for getting the swimsuits, honestly.
No, that's a smart thing. They do get rather soaked, and people start screaming as soon as their clothes get even a little bit dry, not dry.
Well, it's because they're playing about just, like, pouring water into containers, but, like, of course, when little kids are playing pouring water back and forth into, like, little beakers and, like, teacups and stuff, eventually there's going to be, like, a spill and a flood, like. So, really, I just thought they could just mostly wear the swimsuits for that, and then I got swimsuits for everyone, because it's, like, that is the thing about having multiple kids. You always have this feeling of needing things to be even when sometimes certain people don't need certain things. Mm. Like, I got the swimsuits mostly for the girls because I felt like they needed them for that reason. But then I was like, I should probably also get him a swimsuit too. Mm-hmm. You know, just to be fair.
Yeah.
Even though he might be using it less often, because he'll probably only actually use the swimsuit if we ever actually, like, go swimming.
But he will notice the absence. I mean, the kids are very, like, perceptive of who's getting what when others aren't, you know?
Yes, like, he'll notice if they get swimsuits and he doesn't. And then also, I mean, I figured if none of us own swimsuits, that's one thing. Because then if we needed to get swimsuits, we could be like, all right, we're going to surge out and buy swimsuits for this thing that we're planning to do. But if some people have swimsuits, then it sort of, like, feels inconvenient to have to buy a swimsuit for one person because they don't have them. I'd rather just everyone have them, and then we can just, if the occasion to use them arises, be like, oh, good, everyone has swimsuits, you know? Mm-hmm. And the really big thing that I do every year is that I get them shoes for Easter. And I usually do, you know, at least one, but sometimes two pairs of shoes. Mm. But that is something where I didn't do the same thing for everybody because I got the girls' natives, which are like a water shoe. But I didn't get any for him because I just bought him those Crocs. Mm-hmm. And they fit him just as well as, like, the natives would have. And, like, he doesn't need both Crocs and natives. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
And those Crocs were, like, kind of expensive. I mean, they weren't really more expensive than the natives would be, but it's like he doesn't need them both because, like, any occasion where he would have worn the natives, he'll just be wearing the Crocs, you know what I mean? But still, buying the shoes is always very exciting because I love shoes. Mm-hmm. I love shoe shopping. Last year I made a huge mistake with the shoes, and I got tie sneakers. Mm. And I've decided I'm never doing that again. Like, our kids don't really need to learn how to tie shoes, do they?
I mean, eventually they probably should.
Eventually. Okay, but think about it this way. Because I've thought about this a lot with other skills, and I think this could potentially apply to tying shoes as well. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of skills that people invest a lot of time into trying to teach small children. And then one day, eventually, the children know how to do it, and it feels satisfying to the parent who spent, like, maybe years working on this skill, because it feels like finally the years are paying off. Things like, there are people that spend time and energy trying to teach their kids, like, colors. Mm-hmm. And, like, the numbers from 1 to 10. And, like, the alphabet. Mm. Honestly, I've never spent any time and energy trying to teach our kids any of those things, and I feel like they learned those things naturally, and at the same time as children whose parents have spent years leading up to that, like.
Sure, but we also have that thing that sticks to the fridge that's like taught.
Oh yeah, I mean,
children.
I mean, okay, it's a little bit
ABCs.
disingenuous to say that I haven't put any effort into teaching them the ABCs, because it's like I read to them a lot, and we have lots of alphabet books, and I point things out to them naturally, like in conversation, like, you know, oh, look at the green balloon, and oh, that's red, but I'm not like doing it pointedly. But I think some people, like the way they talk about it, it sounds like they're really like working at it, like we're working on shapes. And it's like, do you really need to work on shapes? Or can you just kind of like, through the process of living, by the time you're like 5 years old, you probably will know what the shapes are.
I mean, when we get stuff like tetrahedron and rhombus and stuff, we probably need to like study that kind of stuff.
Well, no, in like first and second grade math, there are shapes that we actually did have to learn, you know, because things like a hexagon, like, we don't know, we didn't like know what that was just like immediately, and it's like, yeah, we had to be like, okay, this is what it is. I'm just saying things like circle and square and stuff, I feel like you teach, I guess you do teach those things to your kids, but in a way that just kind of flows naturally. But I think some people think you need to like drill those things, and I don't think it's I think as long as you're teaching those things, as long as you're just naturally kind of interacting with your kids and like talking about the things that you see in the world, those things kind of naturally come up, you know.
Yeah, and kids are sponges too. They'll pick it up if you are just putting them in it enough, you know.
Yes, but I guess I'm trying to remember why we started talking about this. Like how does this relate to the Easter baskets, Rob?
Gosh, I don't know.
I don't know either, but speaking of educational materials, I mean, I think I was saying that I went pretty practical this year, so I got like a fair amount of clothes. Everyone's getting new socks and underwear. But that's something that they really needed, and yeah. So it's like
always.
But I'm trying to, because I really like to spoil them by putting a ton of stuff in the Easter baskets, but at the same time, I want them to be grateful for things. So I feel like if you get the underwear as a present, maybe it seems like you're more grateful, versus if I just have to buy the underwear and it just kind of shows up, they think that like the underwear fairy just kind of brought it to them, you know what I mean?
Tying it to an occasion.
Yeah, I just want them to know that the underwear, not like in a heavy way, but like the underwear did cost money. Especially when you're buying underwear for like multiple people, it really kind of adds up. You know?
Yeah, especially since our kids have no concept of what stuff costs. Or...
Well, yeah, because I mean, they don't usually have very much money of their own.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they're too young to really like manage a lot of money, and especially, you know, given that the past few years haven't always been conducive to like taking them shopping at the store too. Because I mean, I feel like when I was maybe like the older kids' ages, my parents would take me into a store sometimes, and you know, I would have like a few dollars that I could like pick out like some little trinket or something,
right.
And pay for it myself and count out the change at like the checkout counter and stuff. But just with everything that's happened over the past few years, it's not always, you know, we haven't been like taking them out to do their own shopping like that very much.
Yeah.
So I think that that's kind of contributed to them not really having a very big concept of how much things cost.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But I think, you know, that concept will grow over time. Like, we'll probably, like, let them, you know, shop for some things at some point, and that'll kind of help with that. Just, like, general.
Oh, definitely.
But still, yes, I feel like, you know, because I like to buy them, like, lots of clothes and stuff, but I do like to have it be more of, like, a gift versus just kind of these things magically show up, materialize, you know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
But I also always, you know, educationally, I do always buy them books, too, for the Easter basket, which I'm always excited about. That's another thing that's really hard, though, because I have a huge running list of books that I'm interested in getting the kids, and then it's really hard for me to limit myself to, like, not buying, like, too many books for the Easter basket.
Mm. Yeah. Our kids love books.
They do, and it's, like, it's really easy for me to justify buying more books. You know what I mean? It's, like... It's easy to talk yourself into buying more books for your kids.
Mm.
Like it's such a like righteous purchase, you know.
You're not gonna feel bad about it.
Exactly, and like it's easy to like be like, oh, of course I'll get more books, but it's like I do have to like tap the brakes at some point. But the girls do have birthdays coming up right around the corner too, which is exciting, and that's another thing that I'll have video out about. Hopefully, about both of those that I'll get filmed before the new baby comes. So those will be like in the can, ready to go.
Definitely.
Because I finished shopping for Lilac Beluga Whale purchase already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she was fun to shop for this year. It can sometimes be more challenging to shop for toddlers because they don't necessarily have like hobbies. But she does have interests. Although the only thing that she said that she wanted was a purple. Like, I did ask her, like, what she wanted for her birthday, and she said a purple Squishmallow. So I ordered her a purple sea slug. Hopefully she'll like it. I mean, I showed that to you. It looked cute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did order one thing and then return it.
I just can't tell what those Squishmallows are supposed to be sometimes.
Like, my Easter egg, you didn't know what Eggltina was.
Even before... What?
Her name is Eggltina.
Okay.
That's not the name she came with.
No, they come with some other funky names.
I named her that because I've always thought Eggltina was a funny name. I think that was the name of one of the borrowers in the borrower books. It was like Cousin Eggltina or something. Because they all had weird names like Pod and like...
Yeah, right.
But no, I named it Eggltina. I don't normally keep that many stuffed animals around, but this Squishmallow has been really working out this year. But that's a guilty pleasure of mine because, like, I love stuffed animals, but I haven't really found a way to, like, other than, you know, currently because I'm using it to support my pregnant stomach, I haven't really found a way to, like, really engage with stuffed animals as an adult. But I do love them, so, like, I enjoy buying them for our kids to kind of live vicariously through them.
You're not stacking them in between us in the bed like in the show we're watching?
Yes, in Love is Blind, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the woman that's trying to, like, keep the distance between herself and her supposed fiancé by, like, putting, like, a large stuffed bear between them.
Alleged fiancé?
Yeah, well, I'd say alleged because, like, there's no way she's planning on marrying him, right? Like, she literally said to the other woman that he gives her the ick every time he tries to touch her.
Yeah, I just feel like they're keeping that person around to, like, be like, so you can watch it and be like, oh, they're not going to work out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, so you can, like, chew on that, you know, for a while.
Also, I assume she wants to, like, at least finish out the vacation.
They're in a pretty nice resort. So, I wouldn't want to leave that necessarily right away either.
I mean, you've seen the prices of hotels recently. How much would it cost to go on that vacation if you had to, like, pay for it?
Thousands and thousands.
So I'm just saying, it's, like, a nice enough, like, resort that they're staying at, and I'm sure all the, like,
I don't think you could
drinks
go to
and food
any,
and everything is all, like, inclusive.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you could go any timeshare presentations to go to that place. I think you
have to, like,
you actually have to pay
up the...
for that resort.
I'm just saying, I think that by the time they've made it to the round where they get to go on the vacation, I feel like, unless something goes horribly wrong, you're probably just gonna, like, try to, like, make it through the vacation just for, like, the fun, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And, I mean, if you went on the show partially because you wanted to be on TV, I'm sure you realize that if you leave the vacation, your time on TV is over.
Yes, absolutely.
So, I mean, there's a lot to motivate them beyond the possibility that the relationship could actually work out.
The only downside, I mean, one of the downsides would be the part where at the end of it, you have to, like, drag your family back to, like, then, like, not meet them at the altar or whatever.
You mean when your family... But I'm just saying, like, yes, you mean when your family has to come to the possible fake wedding and then not, like... And then watch... Yeah, that's really awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you could probably go on the vacation and then break up before the actual wedding.
But what if they were like, if you do that, we'll write you out of the show?
Would they really write you out of the show after they've already paid for the whole vacation?
You know, I think probably by the time you get to the resort, they can't write you out totally.
Yeah, because they've like spent too much
I think
time
if you mess up
filming
in the pods, maybe they can still write you out.
I think they want to have a certain number of people to show at the resort, so I don't think they're gonna write you out unless it's really like really bad. I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like didn't people in previous seasons leave before the end too?
I feel like they might have, yeah. I do remember somebody in the previous season that left during the vacation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, then their storyline was just over, you know, at that point. Whereas I'm just saying, I think people want to just like hold on longer to the story.
Sure.
Still, if you're literally like physically repulsed by the person that you're supposedly engaged to, there's no possible way.
Seems like an insurmountable obstacle to me.
It does. Well, because that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, I think that if you felt neutrally, like not attracted to somebody, but also not unattracted to them, you could conceivably become attracted to them. I think if you're actually repulsed by someone, I don't think you can go from repulsion, travel all the way through the valley of neutrality and into, like, excitement. You know?
I mean, I keep feeding these people alcohol, so I guess they'll...
Although you noticed that they're not drinking out of the weird, like, they were always drinking out of these gold-colored, like, cups. So you can't see what's in their glass or how much they're having. And it seems like have they done away with those completely? Or just at the
No, I
vacation?
think that maybe at that one drink station, maybe they, like, for some
They
reason
forget
didn't
to,
have
like, put
them
them out or
left
something.
preloaded there or something.
Someone's been, like...
I then saw
scolded them
the
out,
two
like-
guys talking, and they were both holding the stemmed frosted wine glasses, so it was like...
Okay,
I think
so
it was
they
just
still
back
have
to
them,
the-
just maybe that one place wasn't doing what it was supposed to or something.
Yes. But anyway, back to the Easter basket. What else did we not talk about?
Oh, just, I mean, do you, as the person who just kind of sees me putting the baskets together and sometimes has to, like, pick things up from Target, how do you feel like it, like, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I think you do it up big. I mean, it's definitely commendable. Our children are very lucky, even though, like you mentioned, they can be a little bit demanding with their demands sometimes, but...
Just, everyone wants chocolate bunnies of several sizes.
Yes.
At the same time, though, it's like, of all the things she could ask for, like, a chocolate bunny is, like, you know...
It's pretty...
It's not really that extravagant of a thing. It's just, like, I'm probably not going to get bunnies of, like, various sizes, although how hard would that be, really? Maybe
You could probably find a couple different ones.
At this point, the baskets are, like, pretty full.
Mm-hmm. But, what about the tags?
I'm so excited because something I've wanted to do for several years and just, you know, not done for, you know, one reason or another was to get, like, personalized basket tags. But, well, because a long time ago, like when we were first having kids, I kind of thought we would get the Pottery Barn baskets that I feel like a lot of people have. Like, it's kind of like a very standard to get the Pottery Barn Easter baskets, and then you get the liner, and then you have the liner embroidered with the person's name. Mm-hmm. My taste has changed a little bit, so that's, like, no longer my dream. And also, now that we have this many kids, it's, like, too expensive. Like, it's the kind of thing where if you were going to go down that route, the best thing you could probably do would be to buy the basket each year when each person is born versus trying to buy. I feel like you could spend easily hundreds of dollars if you're trying to buy baskets for, like, 4 people at once.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the look anyway of, like, more of a wire basket, so you can kind of see into the basket. Mm-hmm. Like, I just think it's, like, cuter.
Yeah.
I usually have done baskets where, you know, it's more of a storage thing, and then we can repurpose it for storage afterwards. This year, we actually did get, like, more of just, like, a dedicated Easter basket, and I finally got personalized Easter basket tags. I'm really excited because, well, I got one for the new baby also, which is another reason why I wanted to do it this year, because I was like, okay, I can get them all at once so that they definitely are all matching and not run the risk of going to buy his next year and then maybe, you know, I can't get the same style and then they're all not matching, and then it's like, do I have to rebuy all these tags again from somewhere else so that they all match? So instead I just went ahead and got them all. So unless we change his name, we're, like, set. If we change his name, then I'm back to, like, the problem where that's one reason not to change the name that we have picked. But
I feel good about the name.
I feel good about the name too. I mean, I felt good enough about the name that I wanted to get the tags. Also, I actually kind of felt like it was kind of a test in that I could look at his name on the tag and see if I, you know, still felt good about it or if I was like, ooh, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I got the personalized Easter basket tags. They're super, super cute. I got them from, like, an Etsy shop. And they're kind of a mix of acrylic and wood. And it looks really good together. I do think that eventually they're going to seem dated, though, because I got 2 different styles. And the style that I got for the boys, like, they're all the same shape. Like, the boys and the girls, they're all the same shape. And they're the same, you know, font for the name and the same color of script. But the girls, the tag itself is also acrylic, and the script is acrylic. But for the guys, the script is that same acrylic, but then the tag is a wood. And I do think it might seem dated eventually because the wood of the tag it's like etched in a kind of a checkerboard pattern. Mm-hmm. And checkerboard patterns are extremely, extremely trendy right now. Mm. So right now it looks really great, but I assume a few years down the road it'll look like less cool or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how everyone was all about chevron 10 years ago, and now it's like, ew, chevron.
Mm.
You know, I feel like patterns do come and go, and this pattern is like going really hard right now. So, I mean, eventually, you know, let's just admit that eventually we'll probably have to get different tags. But right now, we're like all set, finally, for once. It's like all happening.
This is like the stockings all over again?
Oh, the stockings are actually a huge problem. It's like still haunting me.
Yes.
Well, the place that I'd been buying our stockings from isn't making stockings anymore.
Why? Why would you just stop making this?
I don't know. Maybe they just weren't that popular or something. It's weird because it was Restoration Hardware, so I don't understand what's happening there. But anyway,
We've shifted our business model away from stockings.
Apparently they have. So we're either going to have to just find a similar style of stocking, which wouldn't be that hard, but I'll always know it's not a perfect match.
Mm-hmm.
Or we have to just start over and, like, do the thing I was just talking about in reference to the Easter baskets and Pottery Barn, which is, like, buy all the stockings at once, like, just reinvest. The one nice thing about doing that is that we could finally just get them all monogrammed, which has always been my dream.
Mm-hmm.
To get the monogrammed stockings, not necessarily from Pottery Barn, but from somewhere.
Mm.
Although I do feel like...
Definitely not Restoration Hardware.
Right? Although I do feel like, you know, the chances of if we actually spend like $300 getting a matching set of monogram stockings for our whole family, we will somehow end up having a fifth child, and then they'll have discontinued the model of stocking that we, like, bought, and so somehow we'll just be back at square one again. Like, you know that would happen, right?
Yes.
Like, I feel like that's the kind of thing, like, karmically that happens. It's kind of like when you get, usually, you know, sort of get yourself ready and presentable to go out into the world. Like, just, you know, brush your hair, put on a decent-looking outfit. You know, whatever, just, like, a baseline of, like, you feel like you look okay is. But then that one day when, like, you're just at a really low point and you're wearing, like, a sweatshirt, but, like, you spilled coffee on yourself in the car, so it's, like, a baggy sweatshirt with a coffee stain, and, like, you maybe didn't brush your hair, but you're like, I'm not going to see anybody anyway. That's the time you run into somebody you haven't seen in, like, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, how are you? You know what I mean? But it's almost like you, karmically, somehow you made them run into you by, like, not grooming yourself appropriately, whereas every other time when you've been, like, looking, like, decently cute, it's like you don't see anybody that you know or care about.
Right. Exactly.
But it's like one of those weird karmic things where I feel like somehow when we invest in the stockings, it's like somehow not going to totally work out, but we'll see what happens.
But speaking of containers, what about the Easter baskets themselves?
Well, we went with the, they're like the Hearth and Hand baskets that they've had out for a few years with Target, which I have very mixed feelings about the whole Hearth and Hand with Magnolia, like...
Oh, is
line.
this, what's her name?
It's Joanna Gaines.
Joanna Gaines, yeah.
First of all, they belong to a very frightening church, I believe.
Also, their headquarters used to be the newspaper in Waco, I found out.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I know. Very strange.
But the thing is, they do make a lot of cute products, but the quality, I feel like, is not always there. Like, these Easter baskets are cute, but I'm a little bit annoyed because, like, the paint job on some of, like, the little hinge areas where, like, the handle meets the basket isn't, like, I think as nice as it could be. Or, like, we have one of the dollhouses from them, and this is probably combination their fault and our children's fault, but, like, the door did, like, rip off the hinges, although I think that might have been, like, more due to our children playing wildly than, like, necessarily the quality. The quality of the dollhouse wasn't necessarily to blame there.
Yes, the ripping.
I feel like they just played too wildly with, like, the opening and close. Of course. Something about, like, a little door that children can open and close that just really, like, sparks everyone's imagination. But, okay, like, here's an example of what I mean by quality. So, we have the little toy wooden mixer from them. And the kids use it all the time. Not necessarily, I feel like 90% of the time they're not using it as a mixer. They're, like, doing something else weird with it. But they do play with it, like, every day. And it's like very cute and in good shape, except that the bowl is kind of, like, chipped in ways it's like, this could be nicer, but whatever. That's another thing where like I did say, the kids play with it every day though, so it's like whatever, right? It's not totally the thing's fault, maybe. But so I did get, one of the things I got for Lilac was that I got her the little wooden toaster set that they have. And I think the toaster itself is really nice, but like it comes with accessories like a plate and a butter dish, and the wood that they've made the plate and the butter dish out of, it's just very light. Just like cheap, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's just like my general criticism of a lot of their products. It's like the quality is like not always great. It's sometimes nice, but it's just, you can't count on it. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I did finally get those baskets, which is a change, because before I always did like a storage basket, like a wire basket or something, and I just couldn't find storage baskets that I liked as Easter baskets to use this year, so I just thought, okay, I'll just get like these cute Easter baskets, you know. And then maybe they can carry them for like egg hunting, although I'm not sure how that's gonna work, but maybe they'll work for egg hunting too.
Yeah.
Because we do have plans to hopefully do an Easter egg hunt this year.
Yeah.
We've got Play-Doh, we've got stickers, and we've got little M&M packages for the eggs, so I mean, they'll be pretty happy.
They'll definitely be happy. Emerald wants to help hide the eggs, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
She wants to help hide the eggs, but you know, she would be sad if she couldn't actually hunt for the eggs, so.
Maybe I can help her hide a couple.
You could just stuff like 3 eggs, like for me or something, and have her hide those. And
yeah.
She just wants to like she wants to like wear bunny ears and feel like she is the Easter bunny and carry like a big basket and kind of like laugh under her breath while she like skips around hiding the eggs.
She loves being sneaky, so.
She loves being sneaky, and she loves Easter so much. Like, I think the idea of just like getting to be the Easter bunny sounds like fun to her.
Yes.
Like the hopping around and like the general merriment, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like pretending to be like the Tooth Fairy or something. But like less horrifyingly tooth related.
Yeah, that is pretty horrifying.
Yeah, actually, I don't know about that. But you know what I mean? I just think she just thinks it'll be fun. I can't really begrudge her that, but I do think she would be bummed if she couldn't then hunt for the eggs.
Yes. But what do you want in your Easter basket?
It's hard because I'm planning to give birth like a week afterwards. So...
Yeah. Your interests may change.
Well, there's just, you know, not like a ton of stuff that I can use. I mean, my ability to like really use a lot of stuff will be like different, you know, in my postpartum time than it will be.
Bottle of wine.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I feel like every time I've been pregnant, it's been a little while before I really felt like rested enough to even think that I would enjoy having a glass of wine. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I feel like the first time you're pregnant, if you like miss drinking, there's like this fantasy that like you could like pop open a bottle of champagne like an hour after the baby's born or something. But like the reality is, I feel like to actually enjoy having like a glass of wine, I need to have like slept for a few days and then obviously figured out when the baby's sleeping and when they're like eating and everything, so I can like time when to have the drink and like just be rested and not, you know, if I'm, you know, need any like pain medicine or anything, obviously not be taking that. So I feel like it's going to be a little bit of time before I want anything like that. It's interesting though. I think the first time that I was pregnant, I remember that I missed drinking a little bit. Because I remember we bought non-alcoholic wine once to try, and it was really, really gross.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was one of those things where I really thought, like, it was so much worse than if I had just had, like, a nice glass of grape juice or something. But, like, now I don't even really understand the impulse to have, like, wanted it badly enough to, like, even try that. Although I'm the kind of person, I just like trying experimental products. Like, for me, that's kind of fun. So, it's really partially probably about that, like, an opportunity to, like, try something that I normally wouldn't buy. But anyway, it's like, this time I haven't really missed drinking at all, except the 2 times that I've missed being able to have a drink were, like, Christmas Eve and then, like, St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Because those are both times where it's kind of more tied to, like, this sort of whole, like, there's this kind of part of, like, the fantasy of Christmas Eve that I have where I have, like, a glass of wine as I, like, sit in front of, like, the Christmas tree and just, like, enjoy the lights or whatever.
Like Carmela.
Yes, exactly. Like Carmela Soprano when she's just like sitting there looking at her giant Christmas tree. Like that's like a nice, like I feel like that's kind of a nice experience to just sort of take that moment to pause and relax and like have a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And then like St. Patrick's Day, because I do really like Bailey's and it's not something that I buy, you know, on a regular basis, so I associate it strongly with St. Patrick's Day.
I'm just so curious because you don't like cloudy things normally.
But it's like, you know, do you ever just love something that sort of defies the rules of what you normally like?
The exception that proves the rule.
Exactly, because no, I don't normally like cloudy foods or drinks or anything, but I do like
Like, I've never seen you sipping on any eggnog or anything.
Ick. No, eggnog is like the enemy. But I like Bailey's a lot, and I feel like it was maybe like a year or two ago that I invented. It was at some point I didn't invent this. I'm sure there's other people that have made this before me, but I invented a drink which was like whiskey and Bailey's shaken with ice, but then like strained and then topped with whipped cream.
Mm.
And I would like to have that drink again at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was really good. But it's like that. So that was like St. Patrick's Day. I did kind of have that thought of like, aw, I miss my drink, you know. But I mean, St. Patrick's Day will come around again next year, and I'll be extra excited to try my drink again.
Absolutely, it was a good drink.
Yeah, but going back to what we were saying about like pregnancy and like what do I want in my Easter basket? At the same time, it's like I want things that aren't just about like me being pregnant, because I'm also still a person. But I feel like during this period of my life, so much of my personhood is about me being pregnant.
Yeah, understandably.
But probably snacks, like I need to get, I mean, I should have already probably bought these before Easter, but I do need to get snacks to put in my like just like postpartum like things to have, you know, on hand. I always like cute socks.
Mm. They fit well in a basket.
They do.
And a stocking.
I don't necessarily need this for Easter, but I still think it would be really nice to get a more aesthetically pleasing bird feeder.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've really been enjoying our bird feeder like the last couple of years, but our bird feeder is like the ugliest bird feeder ever. Like it's not that I enjoy the bird feeder itself. I enjoy the experience of luring birds close to the window so I can like look at them.
Mm-hmm.
The bird feeder itself looks exactly like, don't you think it looks like, you know when people go swimming with the sharks and there's like that metal like rectangle you get inside of?
Listen, there's a reason it looks like that.
Because the sharks are like the birds nipping away.
No, but like the bird food I buy comes in those cube shapes and it fits perfectly in the.
But you know what I'm talking about? How like you look at some people's yards and they have cute bird feeders.
True.
Yeah. I don't necessarily want that for Easter, but I just think like this year I would like to.
I think those
upgrade
people
her.
are working more with open seed.
Yes, whereas we were doing like more of the suet. Yeah, no, I get that. I don't think I really want a bird feeder
we could switch to the. Yeah.
No, the birds might get mad. I don't really want a bird feeder for Easter. I just at some point this year would like to upgrade our bird feeder situation. I have to think some more. I think I started a list at some point of things I wanted in my Easter basket, but then I think I bought some of them for myself.
Mm.
So, well, because I wanted that belt bag, but then I decided to just buy it.
Mm. You're like a whole new person now with your belt bag.
I'm trying new things. I'm hip. I'm with it.
I know.
I'm exactly like Dr. Evil when he tries to do the Macarena. It's like my level of like being hip and with it fashion-wise these days.
Exactly.
But I did obtain a belt bag, so like I'm trying new things.
No, it's fine. It looks good.
Well, because the thing is, you know, I like the ability to just kind of have something that has like a few things in it to grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like the idea of when I'm done being pregnant, like throwing away all my clothes and starting over.
You may not have that choice. They may just fall off your body first.
This is true. Like a lot of these clothes are like
your
not
shirt
doing
that you're
well.
wearing now, your Jurassic Park shirt's like falling apart.
I think it's because we've been using so much OxyClean, but like I feel like all of our clothes are falling apart. It's really like
Yeah,
tragic.
it's a problem.
It's like they're coming apart at the seams.
It's only because the kids' clothes smell so bad.
I know,
It's
but
the
I
only
try
way
to
to get
keep
them
my
clean.
laundry separate from theirs, but sometimes it gets mixed in accidentally.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like it's time for a complete wardrobe refresh. Well, because I think that what happened is that I didn't buy that many clothes over the last couple of years because, I was pregnant, and then we were, like, pretty isolated for so long that, like, if you have no hope of, like, seeing anyone, the inspiration to buy new clothes doesn't feel very, like, strong,
Mm-hmm.
But now that we are getting out a little bit more and, like, socializing a little more and stuff, it makes the because I think a big part of buying new clothes is the fantasy of, like, where you'll be wearing them.
Sure.
And if you're just going to be wearing them, like, to the couch or, like, it's not, it doesn't really, like...
No, but we're, like, visiting with small groups of people, so...
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's, like, there's the possibility of, like, excitement about, like, where I could be wearing, like, if I bought, like, a new shirt or some pants or something that... Just, like, over the past couple years, I haven't always been able to feel that spark of excitement that would lead me to, like, buy clothes. And then, of course, now I'm pregnant again, so it's, like, not really the right time to invest in normal clothes. But I'm just saying, like, when I'm not pregnant anymore, definitely need to, like, refresh my wardrobe.
Definitely. Speaking of things you bought for yourself, you bought a very exciting...
It's like, when you want something for a really long time... And you don't really think it's going to happen for you, but then all the stars align. And by all the stars aligning, I mean that it was 50% off at Target. And additionally, I used our baby registry coupon that gave us an additional 15%.
See, that'll do it.
Yes, so it was like, the price took it down to a point where it was still a splurge, but it felt like something I could do versus something I definitely shouldn't do.
But it's still going to be useful.
It's going to be so useful because I'm going to be able to sit in it when I feed the baby. And I can sit in it when I read to the kids because we can all fit inside it simultaneously because I bought myself an egg chair.
Describe the egg chair.
I mean, I think that, like, when I say egg chair, hopefully people know what I'm talking about. But this one is meant for a patio. So it's, like, kind of an open weave, although we're using it inside. It's kind of, which I think inside. We're not weird about using it inside because like if you look at the reviews for the egg chair, I think a lot of people are using it inside because it's like once you've invested in an egg chair, you don't want it to be ruined by the elements. No. But so it's like an open weave, like it's like an enclosed, it's almost like a little, almost like a small rattan room, but. For that you can kind of sit inside of.
It's like a room inside a room.
It's so cute, and it's like huge.
Like
actually,
a picture in picture.
It's stunningly large. Like I think our whole family could probably sit in it together.
Yeah, but we shouldn't.
Why shouldn't we?
Well, together, yes. The kids like keep wanting to like jump into it, and I keep telling them no.
I'm discouraging them from sitting in it. Well, because it's kind of my chair.
It should remain so. As long as you want to keep it nice, you should keep everyone else out of it.
Well, I'm still scarred from like back like 10 years ago when we had that like dish chair, and then that was back when we let our pets jump up on our furniture, and the pets fought over it, and they shed their hairs all over it, and then like there was like a peeing war that started, and then the whole chair had to be like thrown away.
Tragic, I missed that chair.
Yeah, I mean, fortunately that wasn't a chair that I would want us to still own, so it's really fine.
I know you would have gotten, about the time you made us get rid of the lava lamp, you
probably would have gotten rid of the dish chair.
Probably would have gotten that one too.
Yes. At the time, it did feel like kind of a tragic loss, though.
It was. Considering the other options we had in our living room at that point.
Yeah, I mean, our furnishings was not like at a robust point where we were like really like, we weren't investing in any egg chairs or anything at that point.
Not quite there yet.
But this egg chair, it's like, it's kind of like a non-traditional take on like, people get like rocking chairs and stuff to sit and feed the baby. But I'm going to be able to sit and feed him like in the egg chair. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It is really awesome. Like I'm like pretty psyched to use it.
It looks very comfortable.
You're allowed to sit in it.
I don't want to be responsible for any injuries to it.
What could happen?
Oh, Ash, there's plenty of things could happen. I would definitely never sit with an open top drink in it.
That would probably be a mistake. I mean,
if I get one of those coffee mugs like you have that has the top on it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I did put blankets kind of over the cushions, because the cushions are kind of an ivory color, which is obviously not a good idea in a home with children and pets. But still, if you spilled something, it would soak through and then, still stain. It's really more just to keep from, like, scuffs and stuff going on there. Mm-hmm. I think it might be a good idea to get cushion covers at some point, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the kind of thing where we would need to get them specially made to fit the dimensions of the thing. Or if they could be purchased from somewhere. I don't really know how that works.
Seems like a unique dimension. I don't know. I'm not sure how universal that would be.
I feel like it's the kind of thing where I could probably sew them if I had like more time, but I'm not going to be doing that. So.
But yes, it looks amazing. No, the only reason I wanted you to clarify was because when you first said egg chair, I thought you meant the ones that like hang in a chain off the ceiling or whatever.
Oh, I also think one of those could be cool.
No, I do too. I didn't know if that's what you meant when you...
Oh, when I told you I had purchased an egg chair?
Yes.
Were you fearing that you were going to have to like try to install it?
I was only fearing it because I knew that either one of two things. You'd gotten the one that has to screw somehow into the ceiling.
I feel like for that one you need some kind of like a load-bearing like beam in your ceiling to like anchor it in. You can't just like randomly like screw that into your plaster.
It's not like hanging a picture and it's like, well, did that hit the stud? Didn't it? We'll never know. I guess as long as the picture stays up.
No, I think you need to like really understand the like layout of your ceiling behind the plaster if you're gonna like do that.
You don't want to think. You want to know. But no, the other option would be, and I've seen both these options where it just goes straight up, but there's also one where it's like a metal scaffolding that goes over it and then it hangs from the metal scaffolding.
Oh, I think those are cute too. I think that would be fun for outside because almost more like a porch swing or something.
Yes.
No, this is stationary, like it has legs.
Yeah, it's like a...
It's very stable.
Yeah. It's like a non-moving wicker superstructure.
It's not wicker, though. It's more of a rattan.
What's a rattan?
Well, it's also woven... And I mean, I think this is actually like a fake rattan, because it's not really actually bamboo. It's like a... It looks like kind of like a woven, like it could be bamboo or something, but it's actually like a, you know, like a synthetic materials and like metal and stuff. But the difference is wicker is more like small weaving. I mean, you know what wicker is like. It's like tiny, small weaving threads. Whereas this is more like chunky, like pieces of like not like skinny little things that are all woven together. These are more like very distinct individual chunks of furnishing material. I don't know how to describe that exactly. I think people will, if people are familiar with what rattan versus like what wicker is, I think they'll understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's like the egg chair. Like it's like this chair is like a thing. Like I feel like if you're like familiar with Target and like general like egg chairs, you will understand which egg chair I'm talking about. It's like it's the chair.
How many people fall into that category?
I suspect a lot. Target is like pretty like a thing.
Really?
Yeah, people are very into Target.
No, the egg chairs specifically.
I promise you I'm not the only person that wanted this egg chair because like the egg chair, when I saw it was on sale, I spent like 10 minutes thinking about whether or not I should buy it, and during that time it sold out, and then like 3 days later it like came back into stock, and I bought it very quickly when I saw that it had come back into stock, and I was glad that I did because it's like now sold out again. So I mean, it is like the chair. I mean, like I don't think I'm the only person that's ever been like waiting for years in the hopes that this egg chair would go on sale. Well, because I remember I looked for this chair once when we were buying our patio chairs, and I remember seeing that it was like not available or something. And I mean, I probably wouldn't have wanted to put it outside anyway, so it's fine. But, you know, it's just, I think it's like, it's a significantly in demand sort of a chair.
Yeah. It looks amazing.
It does. It's very exciting. It's like, I haven't been this excited about like a piece of home furnishings in a while. And I recently have bought a fair amount of home furnishings type of stuff that I'm like moderately excited about, but like that less excited. You know, like I bought us some new bath towels, and I'm pretty psyched to use them. But it kind of just feels like, oh good, now we have decent bath towels. Not like, yes, I've taken myself to the next level. The egg chair really feels like I've started a whole new lifestyle of being a person who has an egg chair.
Still need a new curtain rod.
I know, but the egg chair did kind of take a dent into my budget, so may have to wait a few weeks on the curtain rod. But no, and like we bought the kids' beds, and I'm excited about those, but those are for the kids, and that's the thing that I tend to do is I tend to buy a lot of stuff for the kids and not as much stuff for us. And then sometimes I feel kind of grouchy and I realize that maybe we need to get stuff for ourselves also.
Totally.
You know, because, like, I kind of, like, low-key dislike our bed frame.
Yeah.
But, like, I can't really justify buying us a new one for that reason, because, like, I needed to get the bed frames for the kids, you know?
Especially since this was free $99.
It was. Well, it was free because that was another thing about the egg chair. It's a miracle that it arrived in great shape.
Although that box was looking a little beat up.
But the chair itself inside the box was fine, unlike the last large furnishing that I bought from Target was this bed frame that we're sitting on right now. And I mean, it's perfectly serviceable. It's just, there's things I don't like about it in general, but also it ended up being free because the box, I mean, what did it look like it happened to that box?
It was mangled. It looked like it, like, fell off the truck, like, while the truck was moving.
And then was, like, beaten.
Well, it has a
someone
huge
that was mad at it.
dent.
But,
right
and that's why it was
and that's
free,
why it
is that
was free.
we tried to return it, but because it's so large, like...
Apparently it would have been more trouble than it was worth to them to, like, come and try to get it or whatever.
They would have had to, like, schedule someone to come to our house and, like, take it away. And I assume it's just, like, that was going to cost more than just being, like, you just keep... They were, like... I love when Target does that, though, when they give you something for free that you've tried to return, because they're like, it's your item to keep, donate, or destroy. It's like, alright. Like, 'cause that happened to me once with a sort of flowy, bathrobe-y kimono type of thing that I tried to return that had apparently, between the time that I bought it and received it, had been, like, discontinued. They were like, it's yours to donate or destroy as you see fit. And it's like, well, I guess I'll just keep this. But...
Too bad you can't know ahead of time which products are going to do that.
No, it's only a surprise when that happens. But yeah, so I mean, this bed frame did work out in the sense that it was free. It did not work out in the sense that there are certain things that I really don't like about it.
Yeah, me too.
Those are more just design flaws, though, which is like, now I know that I don't want a metal bed frame that has, like, a headboard that's going to be, like, cold metal wires that, like, just, I don't know, it's just very cold and I always feel like I'm going to slip through the cracks.
Yeah. Also, now that we have our TV in the bedroom, we have to, like, sit up way more because the edge of the bed is, like, sticking up.
Well, the footboard goes up too high for, like...
Yeah.
But that is an issue where it's like, we could get a taller TV stand or something.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Still, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I wonder if we could get, like, a headboard to, like a costume for this bed to, like, make it better somehow.
What kind of costume?
Like a more, you know, more of, like, an upholstered headboard or something.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Like,
Just
to
kind of fit
go
over
over the
Yeah,
top?
just sort of fit over this. Just to give us a solid back to lean against.
Yeah,
That would probably be cheaper than trying to buy an entirely new bed.
That's true. I mean, it's held the bed up so far, so...
Yeah.
It's technically worked.
But I did buy the kids new bed frames, and I am fairly excited about them.
Yeah.
Well, I've been stalking those IKEA beds for, like, so long, like the ones that we got.
I'm just glad I made it home with them successfully.
Yeah, I didn't realize they weren't actually going to fit in our car.
Yeah, and then they wouldn't help me tie it down, I'm sure for legal purposes.
But still, it's, like, kind of harsh.
Yeah, like, you can take as much twine as you want.
It's like, thanks a lot.
Thank you. And then on the twine box, it had, like, an advertisement for their delivery service or whatever.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
Wow, strategic marketing.
But the cost of getting these beds delivered would have seriously cut into...
Said it started at $49.
Yeah, so it's like, let's say it had only... And is that per item or just for the both? So I'm saying,
sky's the limit.
if we had to pay $100 to have those delivered...
I mean, that's
a significant portion of the cost of these beds, because, I mean, part of the reason that I bought the beds from IKEA was that they were, like,
exactly
modestly priced, you know, because I was trying to buy 2 of them at once. And, like, you know... I didn't buy the sheets from IKEA, but I was also buying them, like, new, like, sheets and comforters and stuff. So it's like, it all adds up. I don't want to also pay for delivery.
Yeah.
Which is, but, I mean, then again, you had to, like, slowly Final Destination creep your way home with the beds, like, twined
I
on
wasn't
top
the
of
one that was going to Final Destination. The person that was tailgating me on the way home. I was like, if you only knew how not well I know the world of knots.
Right? Oh, no.
I've got shoelace ties up here. You better just give me 50 feet and an ounce of space. But no, I luckily did not have to drive on any highways on the way home, which is fortunate because I think people do drive from long distances to get to this IKEA.
Yeah, no, but I mean, part of the reason that I took so long to find these frames is because I was waiting for them to be in stock at the IKEA that's like incredibly close to our home.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I'd have to drive like 300 miles, I think
Then
I
it
might
would
have
be
been in
worth.
trouble.
Then it would be worth paying for delivery.
Oh yeah.
I think just living so close, it seems especially
It's tempting.
ridiculous to pay for delivery if you're
Yes.
like. If you're like, I could really almost see my house from here. I mean, not really, but like almost.
Exactly.
You know?
I could drag this through the weeds to my house if I really had to. No, I couldn't. It was like 50 pounds.
No, that would
Yes.
have. It would have. The distance from the IKEA to our home would have suddenly felt a lot longer if we tried to do that.
It's like 3 miles, but it would have been 3 long miles.
Right? Like, oh man. Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But the other really exciting thing that we bought is a small pink electric guitar.
Well, that's for Emerald's birthday, though.
Yes, I mean, once again, buying more stuff for our kids, but...
But there's a reason you bought that when you did, though.
Yeah, I mean, because I was going to buy it within the next couple months anyway, and I had seen that it was out of stock a few months ago when I was first, because I pre-planned kind of looking at stuff that I'm wanting to get the kids, and I saw it was out of stock, and it was out of stock for quite a while, so when it came back into stock, I felt like I should go ahead and get this now, rather than risk 4 weeks from now when I want to buy this, it's out of stock, Because it's like, she wants the pink one, and she, like we said before, she practices so and she's so happy about it. So I'm really happy to get it for her, and it did cost a little more than, like, other birthday presents that we've gotten her in the past, but I feel like it's worth it because it's, like, it's a musical instrument, and so it's kind of like, it's a present for her, but it's also, like, something that we probably would have bought her anyway, kind of like, if she needed, like, a violin or something.
Totally.
But I'm really excited to give that to her. I think she's going to
love it.
She's going to be excited. Because right now she's using one that she's borrowed from people, which I think she does like the fact that she's borrowed it from another little girl, who's, like, slightly older than her. So she can kind of imagine, like, that kind of increases the coolness factor. At the same time, though, I think she'll be super psyched to have one of her own and, like, in the color that she had picked out.
Oh, totally. She's going to love it.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that.
She gets some kind of case, too.
Yeah, it's just the guitar itself really ate into my birthday presenting budget.
No, I know.
But, yes, we
Even
do
if
need to...
just like a bag or something.
Yes,
something to put it in.
Yeah, I guess we do need to put it in something. Weren't we talking about getting those, like, neck
Oh yeah, I have
holding
one.
up onto the wall
I haven't
things?
Put it up yet. I was gonna try that. I should go get some more of those if that works.
Because that would be good as far as, like, since she's practicing every day, it might be better for her to just have it hanging up so she could just kind of, because it's easy to, like, take out, put back, take out, put back. I almost feel like a case is more useful if you're storing it or if you're, like, taking it places to play. Whereas if you're just practicing at home, I think the more easily you can get to the instrument, the better. Like, for example, since we moved our piano, we were keeping it in our room, and now we moved it out to, like, the more, like, common area. The kids, I feel like it's easier for them to practice now. Like, practice is happening better than it was in here.
Totally.
Just because, I mean, just the difference between having to go to a different room versus it's just right there does make a difference in, like, actually practicing the instrument.
Oh yeah, they just gravitate towards it.
Well, they'll just, like, sit down sometimes and, mess around with it a little bit, whereas they could never do that when it was in our room, because it's like they have to ask permission to come into our room, and it seems more like I'm going to do my piano practice now versus just, like, sitting down and doing it, you know?
Totally.
It's funny how, though, too, I think just layout can change the way people use things. Like, I moved the kids' play kitchen, and have you noticed that they're playing with it constantly now?
Oh my gosh, I'm always picking up stuff off the floor from that.
Yeah, the play kitchen kind of, it's a love-hate relationship for me.
Oh yeah.
Like, I get really annoyed because, like, it stresses, like, all the little pieces of play food, like, cause me a lot of stress, but I do like that they're actually, like, using it a lot.
Oh, they are, for sure.
But they weren't really using it before in, like, some of the other locations that it's been in. And it's not just the novelty of it having recently moved, because some of the locations it's been in, they never used it, like, in those locations.
Mm-hmm.
Something about just the way it's positioned right now, though, has just excited them.
Totally.
So I do think just, like, positioning things in your home sometimes can really make a huge difference that you, like, aren't even aware of until it's happening.
Yeah, I believe in Feng Shui.
I don't even know, is it feng shui or is it just kind of like...
Well, no, I learned things from looking into that. Like, for example, like, I never have my back to a door when I'm sitting at a desk.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's just like
once I learned that
like,
rule, I was like, oh man, this is so much better. Also, not working in an open plan office really increased that. But that just goes to show, like, there's something to that. Like,
yeah,
you want to see people approaching you.
Yeah, I think that's just
how
natural.
natural
I mean,
is that,
well, it's the same with like our bed. Like the way our bed is, like we face towards the door. The door doesn't like weirdly open in a way where we could not see it. You know.
Exactly.
I think there's just there are some. You're right. There are some things that are kind of natural.
Some rules
about,
that
like,
are universal,
but feel good about the way things are laid out.
Yeah, but they're intuitive too. I'm sure a lot of people have had that same idea.
They're intuitive, but at the same time, sometimes you don't know. Like where I put the play kitchen wasn't necessarily intuitive, but just something about it just works. You know.
Oh, totally.
Just like sometimes there'll be other pieces of furniture and just something about them just doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like the area where we have the piano now, I'm really happy that we've turned it into like the music area, because before we tried to make it into like kind of like a little corner playroom and something about it just never worked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. It was just a dead zone.
Yeah, like
wasn't
just
being used at all.
Some areas it's just like, yeah, like just for certain purposes they just are not going to be happening, no matter how much you try to like make it happen. It's like, look, it's not happening.
Stop trying to make fetch happen.
Exactly. It's funny because like I was thinking that in my mind right before you said it. Oh, the other exciting thing that's totally off topic from everything that we've been talking about this episode is that Yellow Jackets is back.
Yeah, we've got another episode to watch after this.
Yes. I'm so happy because we had just finally reached the point of like resignation where we thought it had like been canceled, right?
Yeah, and then I just randomly Googled it like the other day and it was like coming back on the 25th or whatever. Oh my gosh, I didn't even know.
It just felt like somehow it had been long enough that maybe it wasn't going to return.
Yeah. I don't know, it's still on its creepy slow burn, not really giving you too much more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still concerned about where it's going, but I'm excited to be there.
Yeah, the supernatural elements are always concerning.
Yeah, I'm not as into the supernatural, but let's just, you know, I'm ready to
I'm still
see
here.
where this
I'm
takes
still
us.
watching.
Yes. Exactly. Well, was there anything else you wanted to say about, like, Easter basketry or pregnancy or anything in those springtimey vein?
He's moving around a lot.
He is. He's very, like... I think we just feel him because he's, like, pressing against the edges a lot now.
Oh, yeah.
There's, like, a lot of him in there.
Definitely.
It's interesting to be having a boy after... It feels like it's so long since, you know, our son was born.
Mm-hmm.
Like, our other son.
Yeah.
I wonder, you know, because having had one boy and then two girls... There's a lot that I wonder about just, you know, certain, like, gender differences, if we'll notice them or not. Because, I mean, they'll obviously just be different people.
Mm-hmm.
But also just, like, I wonder if he'll be in any ways more similar to his brother than to the girls. You know, just in, like, what he's interested in, like, how he likes to play. Like, you know, will he be more interested in, like, trains and cars and, like, stuff like that? Because, I mean, girls like that stuff, too, in general. But I definitely think our son liked that stuff, like, way more.
It's hard to say, yeah.
Girls. So it's like, I wonder if he'll like that kind of stuff, too, you know?
I feel like the girls have a lot of similar interests, but I think that comes from being two little girls very similar in age.
Yeah, well, I just mean things like all children like to play with toy cars. Mm-hmm. But our son did like toy cars much more intensely than either of our daughters ever have.
Yeah.
So things like that, like, I wonder, you know, what, you know, differences we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with trains. Like, the girls like to play with trains, but not with the same kind of passionate intensity that our son liked trains for, like... I would say there was a good solid 2 years there where trains were, like, very important to him. Whereas the girls, like, every once in a while will get the trains out and they'll have fun building and then they'll be, like, done for, like, you know... They won't really, like, ask about them again until I, like, randomly get them out to be like, hey, who wants to build with the trains, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas he was like all trains all day long for like a good solid, strip of time there.
Definitely.
So it will be interesting to see, if there's anything like that where we revisit those hobbies, or if, he could just have a totally different set of interests as well.
Mm-hmm.
All of our children have loved the movie Frozen.
Some have loved it more
Although,
than
yes,
others.
well, I was going to say, like, escalatingly so, because, our first liked it, and then our second liked it a lot, but our third is, like, deep into, I think, the most intense relationship with Frozen that I've, like, experienced. That's pretty intense, because I know a lot of people like Frozen a lot, but she really likes Frozen.
She randomly bursts out into song from it multiple times a day.
She'll also be, like, distraught if, like, the song starts playing, but she hasn't, like, had time to put her cape on.
And a cape can be anything from a play silk to a towel to your
like
shirt.
a dinosaur bathrobe.
Bathrobe, yeah.
Or like, it's
Anything that dangles and that she can throw down at like about 50 seconds into the song.
But it's like, you've seen how upset she becomes if she, like, that
She
one
makes me
song
start the
starts
song
playing,
over.
and
She
she's
starts
like,
freaking
"I
out
need my
if
cape."
yeah.
Or if she can't get to her cape because she's like in her high chair or something, and she has to like,
Yes.
like she's like intense. Like, she's got the costuming. She like does the moves. She's just like,
She is.
it's all happening.
She is
for
Queen
her.
Elsa.
She really is. Like, it scares me sometimes when she tries to icy power us, though.
Yes, it's her last line of defense, I've noticed.
Yes, like, I feel like she has tried to, like, icy power me for real when, like, I was, like, coming to, like, get her, and she, like, didn't want to be, like, apprehended.
Yeah.
But, so, there's certain interests like that that's just interesting to see. Like, could this person like Frozen even more than she does? Or will he have other things that he's into?
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask what music you've been listening to lately, but I think we already answered that.
Definitely for the soundtrack.
The soundtrack of the movie Frozen, and also Frozen 2.
Yeah, honestly, I haven't been making as much time to listen to music for my own personal interest. Although I have some things to say about music, though.
Yes.
Well, my sister and I were talking a lot about, like, Miley Cyrus, the other day.
Mm.
Because she just, she has, like, some new songs out, I think. Like, there's that Flowers one.
I haven't heard that.
The thing about it is that I guess she supposedly filmed the music video in, like, because she's recently gotten a divorce.
Mm.
And she filmed the music video, though, I guess, in the house. Somehow it's the house where her person that she's divorcing would take the people that he was cheating on her with.
Wow.
But then she, like, rented it to film the music video in, like, intentionally.
Oh my gosh.
So it's, like, pretty, like, intense.
Mm.
Yeah, so, that's kind of interesting. And we were just talking about how we were both a little bit surprised at how well Miley Cyrus has transitioned into, like, having, like, an adult recording artist career.
Yeah, she's been all over the map, creatively.
Well, and just because, my sister is of the age where she was, like, the target audience of Hannah Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Back when that was happening. But it's like, we've seen other people that we would have at that time put into the same category, such as, like, Amanda Bynes or something,
Mm-hmm.
that are, like, super not doing well now.
Yeah, I am, but she had to. I saw Amanda Bynes had to be like put into like some kind of custody or something.
Last I heard, she like got a face tattoo and had like started a fire or something.
Yeah, not
So
doing
like,
well.
yeah, like
That's
things were not like.
curse of the child star a lot of the time, but not always, obviously.
But that's what I mean, like with Miley Cyrus, like it seems like she's obviously had some times when maybe it seemed like she was struggling or something, but it seems like she's transitioned into being like an adult artist.
Mm-hmm.
That's like apparently successful and independent. Like she hasn't been like entrapped like Britney or something, So it's just sort of interesting to see that. It's like a little bit surprising, but good for her,
She can really sing too, so.
Yeah, I actually do like it's funny because there's music that at the time when it came out, I think I was like too cool to like admit that I liked it or something. But there's songs like I really like that Wrecking Ball song.
Mm-hmm. No, I heard her do a live cover of Arctic Monkeys. Why Do You Only Call Me When You're High? That was really good. It's very like she has a real soulful take on it. Wouldn't have expected that from Miley Cyrus.
And she works with interesting people. Like, I feel like I saw something where she was going to be doing a duet with, like, Dolly Parton or something. Like, just, like, I feel like she's got, like, some interesting, like, creative stuff going on.
Yeah, definitely.
But, I mean, other than that, I've mostly just been listening to, like, a lot of classical music lately.
Mm-hmm.
I was really, really happy with this book that we got the kids recently. It's this story orchestra book where, you know, you press the buttons and then it plays little samplings.
Yeah, they like that.
Yeah, and we got the one for Sleeping Beauty, and so it's like all like from like the ballet. And I really liked realizing, because I hadn't actually listened to that all the way through before, like that, like just as like an album or whatever. So I didn't realize that the song from the Disney movie, like one of the songs, like used the song from the ballet, like that, you know that Once Upon a Dream song. Yeah, like I didn't realize that that was like taken directly from that.
Is that Tchaikovsky?
Yeah. And that's nice, and like so I love learning about stuff like that with the kids. And Lilac really likes that book because the good fairy, like the good and most powerful fairy in that is the Lilac Fairy. So when she's not being Elsa, she will be the Lilac Fairy now. Have you heard her say that before? She's like, I'm the Lilac Fairy. I think the fact that it's like the most powerful and good fairy really was
if it was a villain, I don't think she'd be so excited about it.
No, definitely not at all. But yeah, so I mean, I've been listening to like a lot of like classical stuff, which sounds a little bit like, I don't know, it's one of those things that's like hard to talk about or something. But I don't know, I feel like you and me have such a different relationship to music.
What do you mean?
I remember when I was like first getting to know you, and you like were like, what kind of music do you listen to? Like, just because like, I mean, I listen to music more like with my headphones on, like it's a very like personal kind of like a closed experience. Or I will listen to music like, when I turn music on just like in our house, it's more, I do that more now because like I'm listening to it like with the kids. But like if it's just for my own enjoyment, I'm more likely to listen to music just like in my headphones. You know, like it's a very like personal listening.
I listen to my headphones.
Well, I know you do too, but I feel like
I try not to when you're around because I have trouble hearing what you're saying.
only because you have like the big like noise canceling. Or you did. I know that's like a deeply tragic issue.
Yeah.
Headphone death.
Permanently disabled anyway.
I know. Well, I still think we could fashion some kind of a brace to fix them, possibly. It's not that hopeful. But
if I wrap a headband around my head, I think I can make it work.
Yeah, but I mean, you want it to like, I don't know. You want to feel cool.
Yeah, that doesn't feel very cool.
No. But no, just like, I don't know. I just feel like my taste in music is like all over the map.
Me too.
No, I know it is. I just feel like lately I haven't really been exploring much like new stuff. It's just like I'm revisiting classical music and I'm like revisiting Miley Cyrus, and I'm not like, you know, I don't really know if I have anything like earth shattering to like drop upon us.
Fair enough.
I did learn recently that, so the kids and I are like learning about different, like I got a curriculum where we learn about kind of less not less traditional, but like not just like the classical music instruments, but like, so for example, we did a unit on like the mandolin. And for each unit there's like a composer, and so the composer for that was like Chris, is it Thile?
Thile, however you say that.
Yeah.
Tile.
I did, like, not think that I knew who he was, but then realized that I recognized, like, a Nickel Creek song. But then I thought maybe I liked Nickel Creek, because I did kind of like that one song that I recognized, but then I listened to a bunch of their other music, and I realized that I didn't like a lot of it. So it was kind of a loss, but, you know, at least I tried to expand my horizons.
Yeah, he's an accomplished mandolin player.
Yeah, no, I mean, my not liking necessarily their music wasn't a criticism of his like musical skill. It was just more like the songs didn't like totally speak to me, but I did appreciate what he was doing. But yeah, so I mean, I've like attempted to branch out into like new music. So, wow, the lights just like flickered.
Also, I think it might be storming outside.
We're supposed to possibly have like a tornado or something, so
Mm-hmm.
we should like be on high alert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Thank you for being a guest on the Rob Burgess Show.
You're welcome. You know where to find me.
I do.